Let's say you want to store your top 5 favorite books. You could do something like this. Now, if you want to add another one, you have to create a new variable. To print them all, you need to repeat println about 5 or 6 times, and it is tedious and messy. Collections can fix this. They let you store a group of values in one variable. In this lesson, we'll learn about arrays, lists, sets, and maps. Let's start with the most common one, a list. Think of it like a shopping list. So to create a list, create a variable, for example, books. Then you use the equal to and use list of. Then now, instead of declaring individual variables like this, you can pass the books to this function and use comma to separate each item. This is a list. You can see the difference. Here we need to create individual variables to hold our list of top favorite books. But using collections, you create just one variable and you stack all these books into this variable using the function list of. Now that you have this list of, you ask, how do I access the individual elements or items in this list? You use the variable name. Let's say you want to print atomic habits. When you create a list, the individual elements are assigned numbers starting from 0. So the first item here is 0. Second item is 1. The third one is 2. And the fourth one is 3. The fifth one is 4. It's 0 base numbering. It does not start from 1, 2, 3, 4. It is rather 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to access it, you use the variable name books. And then you bring square bracket. Inside of it, you specify that number assigned to that element. So starting from here, we have 0, and the atomic habit is the second one, which is assigned 1. So you pass 1. Now that you do this, I can print it. Now when you run, you see atomic habit. So again, if we want to access the last element, you start, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to access that one, pass 4. So when you run it, you get clean. To show the first one, we'll use 0. Now you can run it, then you get born a crime. So that's how it is. And not just string, it applies to numbers as well. Let's say I want to store a list of even numbers. Use list. Then you start 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. This is the list of even numbers. And like I said, you'll be assigned numbers starting from 0. So if I want to access 6, I'll start 0, 1, 2. So I'll just use the variable name. Bring a square bracket and then 2. When I run it, you get 6. So there are two types of lists. We have lists that allows you to add and remove items from the list, but this method for writing list does not allow you to add or remove list, and it's called immutable list. And the second one is the mutable list. That one allows you to remove an item from the list and add a new one to it. So for the mutable list, it's just the same thing. You create my books and then you use mutable list of, and then you declare your books. So I can just copy the contents of this. So the only difference between these two lists is that the first one, you can't add or remove item from the list, but this one allows you to add and remove item of the list. Aside that, all these methods and whatever we did here still applies to this. Let's try adding item to the list. So let's print the entire list. So when you run it, so this is the entire list. Now let's add a new item, my books dot add. So there's a method called add. Then you can pass your new item. Now let's print the books after adding the new item. So this is before adding and this is after. So when you run it, you have the first one, and then the second one. So it has added this one to the list. So I'm giving you a simple challenge. Try this add method to the books list. Type the response in the comments. Aside adding, you can also remove. So to remove elements, we have my books dot remove, and then you pass what you want to remove. So let's say I want to remove the sapien. So I'll just put it here, and then I'll print the books after removing the item. Let's see the three difference. Here we have sapien, here sapien, and there's non-sapien. If you are liking this content, please support me by subscribing and liking the video. Thanks. There's a convenient property you can call to determine the number of items in this list. This is how you go about it. I'll say number of books in the library is, so you call my books dot size. So the property name is size. So any list you can apply book dot size. So when we print it, the number of books in the library is 5. So if we count it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's also a function that you can use to determine if a list contains a particular element. Let's say I want to check if there's sapien in our new list, which is this one. I want to check whether there's sapien in the list. So there's a function you can use. It's like a search. You are searching through a list. There's a function called contains. So my books dot contains. This one is like a question. Does it contain sapiens? It will return true or false. Let's store the result here. And then I'll print the check false, because the list here does not contain sapiens. There are a lot of convenient functions like finding the index of a particular item. The index means the number assigned to it. You want to know the number assigned to that element. So think big. I want to find the number assigned to it, which is the index. You can use another function called index of. So I want to find the index of the think big. So I'll call it location. Then I'll print location. So from the list, we have 0, 1, and 2 is at number 2. There are a lot of convenient methods, and I entreat you to go and do more research on it after you get the basics. So let's talk about the next collection, array. So array is just like the list. The only difference is that this one is for a list. You know the number of items for the list. You see, when you're creating a list for books, those books can increase or decrease. However, for a list of the days of the week, it is always 7 days in the week. So for a fixed size, when you are creating a list that has a fixed size, the number of items will not increase or decrease. Then you use array to store those variables. Let's create the example of the days of the week. That one, you use array of, and then you can pass Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the list can go on. And in the same way, if you want to access the item, just like the first list, this one I'll also assign numbers. So to access Tuesday 01, so we'll just do, which will print Tuesday. So Tuesday, they work like lists but are not often used in real apps. So let's talk about set. A set is like a list but does not allow duplicates. So for example, when you are creating a list of categories, tags, so you create IDs, you use set of, so you pass the numbers. When you print IDs, it prints 1, 3, and 2. So it does not allow duplicates. It automatically removes the duplicate. It is perfect for things like IDs, categories, or types where repetition isn't allowed. The next one is map. So map stores data in key value pairs like a dictionary. For example, we have user, then you use map of. So inside the map, you start with a key name to, so you map it to Mauli, separate it with comma, then you come to the next one, age, you map it to like 24. You can go on and say country, then you map it to interest, solving problem. That's how you create map. to access any of this, just use the name and then the square bracket, and then you pass the name of the key. These are the keys. So in order to access the value, you have to use the keys to access the value. That's how it works. If you want to access this, you use name. So we can print this, and it prints manually. So if you want to know the interest, you can change this to interest. When you run it, you get solving problems. So that's how we create maps. And we have mutable maps. So as of now, you can update and add new properties about the user to this map. To create a map that you can update, you use mutable map of. Inside it, you can do the same thing. Name to Kojo, and that's it. Let's print it. So new user, name Kojo. So let's add a new property like age. Then I'll assign 38. So now when we print a new user, we expect to see the new field. Okay, so this error is coming from here when you are using map, because it is key value. The key column has a data type, and then the value column also has a data type. So by default, this is like list of string and then list of any. So there's a data type called any. So if you want to accept any data type, you use that one called any. So in case you want to add int to this column, the value column, you have to specify the data type before it will allow you to do that. So to do that, you put it in the anchor bracket. Inside the anchor bracket, for the column, it is string. So you specify string. Then you separate it by comma, and then the next one, which is the value column, you specify any. So this one will accept any data type. So once you run it, you see that it works. So now we have Kojo, and then we have Kojo and H, which is a new one we've added to it. So sometimes you can use any, sometimes you can go straightly if you know that your values are of a specific types. For example, all string, then you can specify the type as string to string or string to int. So when you do it string to int, then the column, everything here must be a number. All must be a number, and it will work all right. But if you change it to a string of 45, then it will throw an error. You see, so type mismatch. So in order to avoid that error, you set this one to any. So now you learn how to use collections. This will use a lot in our application. Subscribe and like this video